Describe the comedy stylings of Lindsey Graham. What famous comedians would you say you're like?
Shecky Green.
Shecky Green.
That's not bad.
And everybody says he doesn't email either.
Yeah. Who are your favorite comedians?
Oh, God, let's see. Richard Pryor.
Wow.
Oh, God, it's just
Do you like Louis C.K.? Have you heard of him?
Yeah,
like him?
but, Jonathan Winters.
Uh-huh.
And, Jonathan Winters, to me, you could give him a spoon, and he could do 20 minutes with a spoon. Robin Williams. People that are situational humorists. Jerry Seinfeld is funny without being dirty. That's hard to do.
I'm curious. This is a morning event, right? So
Yeah.
two key things about this on St. Patrick's Day. Have you had anything to drink yet?
No.
Has anybody in this room you think had anything to drink yet?
I hope so, because
Okay.
I do better with people who drink.
Yeah, absolutely.
The more you drink, the more this will make sense to you. You can see where I'm taking the country.
Just to go
after
back,
about a half a.
just to go back to Richard Pryor, if this were an evening event, would you be tempted to work blue?
Let me tell you, I've got a lot of material that nobody knows about, and that's good. At night when you get loose and when you have one too many, yeah, never mind.
So Senator McCain has been giving you advice, your friend, about how to do this, right?
Yes.
He's a pretty experienced president.
He certainly is.
He's 0 for 2, but
He's
still
0 for 2,
experienced.
yeah.
What
Yeah.
advice has he given you, if any, about comedy? Because he tells a lot of jokes over and over again.
Well, he tells the same jokes over and over again.
Yeah, they're classics.
They are. They're funny, and I don't know why after the 100th time you've heard them, but it's the delivery. He told me to come here and stake out New Hampshire. This is the battleground for me. I think I'll do well in Iowa. I mean, the Ag Summit. I've talked 4 minutes about ag and told 20 minutes of jokes.
In a period of time in around 2007 where you and Senator McCain used to enjoy watching more than anything else, watching John Edwards do the I Feel Pretty video where he combed his hair over and over again. Have you ever seen anything in politics funnier than that to this day?
That's pretty funny. And in our case, you'll never see us do that because we have no hair.
Right, that's right. You miss John Edwards, don't you? A little bit.
Well, John and
As a
I,
source of humor.
Here's a little-known factoid.
Okay.
John Edwards and I were born in the same town, in the same hospital. Seneca, South Carolina.
Wow.
He was in the left wing, I was in the right wing.
In the same room?
Not the same room. We're not that cozy. But very few people know that his family is from Seneca,
Just
South
like
Carolina.
it's like the Hope, Arkansas, South Carolina.
Yes, just as dysfunctional.
Town of presidents.
Town of dysfunctional people.
We think your best joke today was about the Clintons. So the question we have for you is, why are the Clintons a rich source of humor? Break it down for us.
Well, I think, number one, they can take a joke. It's not funny over time if you can't take it.
Right.
And they can take it and they can give it. But my God, they've had 1,000 episodes, skirting political death. I think Bill Clinton's not happy unless his back's against the wall. That's when he's most dangerous, and we'll see how Hillary does.
I'll say, speaking of snakes was a great transition today. Very, very
Speaking
good.
of snakes.
Yeah, really
But,
good.
Bill Clinton's the guy that has survived things that would have killed 10 politicians. Because I think people look at him and say he's smart, he's competent, and that's a testament to his just not giving up. And she's tough. People on our side think, oh, bring her on. She is very tough. These two folks have survived a lot.
Let's ask you about some serious stuff in the news. If Prime Minister Netanyahu is not reelected, what are the implications for the United States?
I don't think it will matter that much on the Iranian nuclear negotiations, but a lot in terms of going forward. It would be a rejection, I guess, of his main theme that Israel's in a state of national under threat. I mean, the whole election, I think, is around national security versus domestic concerns. And if he lost, it would be evidence that people in Israel are not as worried about the Iranian nuclear threat as I thought they were.
Do you think there's a chance if he loses that some part of the blame will be laid by some, at least, on him having come here and given that controversial
I think
speech?
there'll be a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking. Right. Should he have done that? Did it blow up in his face? I really don't know what it means.
You mentioned Hillary Clinton being tough, and everyone, I think, would agree she is pretty tough.
Yeah.
This email controversy has been occupying a lot of time in the news. Do you think she's lying?
No, I don't. I'm not going to say she's lying. I'm just saying this. It continues a narrative that's probably not good for her. I don't know how she denies somebody a chance to look at the private server. Today in politics, there are not many people in the political system that the public would trust, will say, just trust me, I've kind of policed myself. I think she'll have a hard time maintaining the approach she's taken, that this private server cannot be looked at by an independent group. Here's the problem. Cheryl Mills and her inner circle, did they talk about government business from private email to private email? You know, she says, rightfully so, when I communicate to somebody who has a government account, it'll be captured.
Right.
Well, what if you communicate to somebody on a private account, it won't be captured?
Well, she says that's would be included in the batch that she handed over.
Well, then that goes back that we got to trust her. And all I'm saying, I think it's going to be very hard for her to deny an independent review of the server, because under the spirit, and I think the letter of the law, the whole reason the law existed was to avoid a situation where you could control everything as the public servant.
You're going to have to pry that server from her cold day hands. I think Senator, in New Hampshire, Scott Walker over the weekend said that he thought the party needed to move on from old names like Governor Bush's name and need somebody new. Where do you come down on that? Do you think the party should consider turning back to a third Bush, or do you think that's too much yesterday?
I think the party and the country will evaluate Jeb based on being Jeb. And I think Scott misses the point about us as a country. We don't like dynasties, but we also like individuals. And if there's anything consistent about America, is that she will give you a chance to make the case as to who you are and let you fail and come back, a la Bill Clinton. So the idea of Jeb Bush being kind of shadowed by his brother and his father is real to a point. But here's what I think about America. They're going to give you, Jeb, Lindsey Graham, and Scott Walker, a chance to make the case about who you are. And when you're talking about somebody's flaws based on your name, I don't think you quite understand who we are as a party or as a country. I don't buy that. But now he's going to have to make the case. He's going to have to prove to people that he's his own guy and he fits the times. Here's the question for Scott, Lindsey, Jeb, and George. What we have to offer, does it fit the times? Most elections are about the flaws of the last president.
Right.
You know, if the last president performed well, you elect somebody that will continue that trend. But when you think about the last 30 or 40 years, Reagan was an antidote to Carter. You had, Clinton was an antidote to 41. Obama to Bush.
Right.
What's the antidote to Obama? What are we looking for? Is it a hip, technical savvy guy? Maybe so, maybe not.
Bad news for you.
And bad news for me if it is.
Himself on Richard Pryor, Jonathan Winters.
Right.
Could be.
How about a guy who has shown a willingness to actually do bipartisan things? How about a guy who has a record of being willing to tell his party something they don't want to hear? How about a guy who understands the world for what it really is rather than what you'd like it to be? A guy who's been more right than wrong about the rise of radical Islam and how to deal with the threats we face. Whether that's me or not, the next president of the United States is going to be seen as a guy ready to serve on day one and a person who actually can bring us together.
Let me ask you a quick final comedy question.
Sure.
Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert both made fun of you a lot for a long time.
Absolutely.
Who did you prefer? Whose mockery did you find more funny?
I think Jon was more biting and hit home more often.
Right.
Now, Colbert is from Charleston, so maybe a little hometown boy, couldn't quite go to the next level. But I want to be on Jon Stewart's show before he left. He does the country a great service. And he's tough on everybody. He is tough on everybody, not just Republicans. And somebody's got to fill that space in American politics.
You better bring your A game when you're on that show.
Thank you, Senator Lindsey Graham.
You're a good man.
Potential presidential candidate. Thank you so much.
To bring my A game, that's better than I did in school, okay?